Imagine standing in a quiet German alleyway in 1885, listening to a sound no human ear had ever heard before. A metallic gasp, a trembling rattle, and then an explosion of life. People freeze, horses panic, neighbors think it's witchcraft. But one man, one stubborn, sleepless, unshakable man, leans closer to the machine everyone else fears. This could either change the world or kill him. Before Mercedes, before the star, before the legend, there was a boy who had nothing. Karl Benz was born in 1844 in Baden, Germany. His father died when he was 2. His mother raised him alone, surviving off small wages and sheer will. And from the beginning, Karl was obsessed with motion, gears, wheels, metal, anything that refused to sit still. Germany at the time wasn't dreaming of cars. Nobody was. Transportation was horses, carriages, and the occasional steam engine that hissed and fought like it hated being alive. But Karl had a vision that bordered on madness. A carriage with no horses. A machine that could carry people like a heartbeat carries blood. He wasn't just trying to invent a vehicle. He was trying to invent a future that didn't exist. As an engineer, Karl faced failure after failure. Investors called him delusional. Mechanics mocked his designs. His engines misfired, overheated, or simply refused to start, as if the universe itself was telling him to stop. His workshop became a graveyard of broken prototypes, and the bills nearly crushed him. But Karl had one ally, one silent, unwavering force: Bertha, his wife. While society doubted him, she believed. While he questioned himself, she pushed him forward. She didn't just support his dream, she funded it using her own dowry in secret, because she knew something the world didn't. A breakthrough was coming. In the winter of 1885, Karl built something different, something leaner, stronger, more stubborn than all the failed machines before it: the Benz patent motor wagon. When he turned the crank, the engine coughed like an old man choking on smoke. Again, 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 and then it happened. A spark, a pulse, a roar that echoed through the neighborhood like thunder ripping the sky open. Neighbors ran outside in panic. Some crossed themselves. Karl Benz, exhausted, penniless, ridiculed, stood over the shaking machine with eyes full of fire. But one question haunted him. If this machine was truly meant for the world, why was he too afraid to show it? Karl hesitated. He worried the world would tear his invention apart. He feared it still wasn't perfect. So Bertha made a choice that would change history. On an August morning in 1888, while Karl slept, Bertha quietly rolled the motor wagon out of the workshop. She loaded her 2 sons onto the carriage, looked down the long, unknown road, and drove. It became the first long-distance car journey in human history, over 60 miles. No map, no gas stations, no mechanic. At one point, she used her hairpin to unclog a fuel line. At another, her garter became an emergency insulator. When the engine overheated, she visited a pharmacy to buy Ligrin just to keep the car running. Crowds gathered as she passed, jaws dropping. For many Germans, Bertha Benz wasn't just a woman driving a car. She was a comet blazing across their quiet countryside. And when she finally wrote back to Karl, she said only one thing: the world is ready. That journey transformed everything. Newspapers exploded with the story. Orders for the motor wagon started coming in. The automobile age, the one we all live in, was born from that stolen morning drive. But recognition was slow. Karl Benz wasn't celebrated as an inventor for many years. Some still dismissed him, insisting his machine would never replace real horses. Yet decade by decade, the roads changed, engines multiplied,
Cars evolved, and eventually, Karl Benz and his name, Mercedes Benz, became synonymous with engineering excellence. But behind the chrome and the brand and the legacy was a boy who refused to stop dreaming, and a woman who refused to let him give up. Karl Benz didn't just build a car, he built possibility. He lived in a world that mocked new ideas, where failure was a stain and ambition was a threat. But he kept going, because he understood a truth we often forget. Every world-changing idea begins as a noise nobody understands. A rattle, a spark, a strange machine coming alive in the night. And if someone, just one person, believes enough to keep turning the crank, the future starts. History remembers inventions, but it often forgets the courage it took to build them. And that is the untold spirit.